Hi guys, I'm Thad Moffitt back here at Petty's Garage for another walkthrough Wednesday. I know it's been a while, but we're gonna start kicking these things up again for you guys. Right now we got Greg Steadman come back home after a long time away. Greg, what's going on, man?
Good, Thad. Good.
Glad to have you back.
Good to see you.
What you got going on here?
Well, just I'm back just recently. Been about 3 or 4 weeks, so we'll start to gather up what we got for projects in the shop. Trying to get some new stuff, exciting stuff in here. So parts and cars. So right now we've got a Camaro here with some brakes on it that we're replacing.
And this over here is yours, right?
Yep, that's the original Petty Test Challenger there. So it's back in the house, and we'll start doing some new parts for that.
Okay.
Getting rear suspension components geared up for it. The front cradles, a lot of just different parts that we sort of started with when we started building the cars.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to continue on now. So a few years later, but we're going to ramp it up and get some good, cool parts put on these cars.
So I'm curious, you were here and then you were gone. So where'd you go? What brought you back?
Left a little bit, had to get some more racing out of my blood there. I went back and did a little drag racing for a little while, and then actually went back into the NASCAR circuit for about 5 years and worked with some Xfinity teams, and the opportunity came up to come back over here and get the shop going back where we wanted, the direction we headed. So I took the opportunity, and I love this place and I love what we want to do, so I'm ready to tackle it.
All right, so now we're under the car that belongs to you. I see a lot of Petty Blues. So this is the test car?
Yep, when we started back in 2009, we purchased this car and started outfitting a lot of the parts and components that we put on the Signature Series Challengers that we produced. And like I say, a lot of the blue parts you'll see, this is front suspension cradle, the transmission cross members. We had a shock and spring package, some other subframe connectors, and then like I say, we're working on the actual control arms and rear suspension components now. So we'll continue the series of parts that we started.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because a lot of these, like these subframe connectors, this right here, you can get online right now at pettysgarage.com. We still make those.
Yeah, we still have all these parts. I think the cradles were actually back on producing those. So a lot of this stuff you'll start to see pop up on pettysgarage.com. All right, Dad, thanks for introducing me here today. And like I say, I think Sparky just pulled in with one of the package cars. It's a Warrior Edition Mustang we did a while back that a customer had. We're redoing one for him. He lost it in a fire. So you're going to go over there and check out
Let's
Sparky?
go check that out and see what we got going on.
Thank you, guys.
Sparky, you ready to be on camera?
Comb your hair. Comb your hair.
What we got right here? Just got this one back from the alignment shop. It had full suspension front and rear done, coilovers, sway bars. It's got a 3.0 Whipple supercharger installed in it now, and just got done dynoing it and made 520 horsepower.
Ooh, 520.
Still
Good number.
Still got a ways to go before it's done, but
also we got some really good Forge Line wheels and Continental tires on this thing.
got to check out the eye candy.
So what do we have done to this thing?
It's a 3.0 Whipple supercharger.
And how long does it take to do something like that?
About a day and a half. It's not a very hard install, just time consuming.
And then we got this, I saw you working on this earlier, so tell me what we got going on right here.
This came in for a stage 1.
And so what is our stage 1?
Stage 1 on a Hellcat includes supercharger pulley, the 285, and larger injectors. Usually makes around 825 horsepower crank. Got a nice Metco pulley and Doucheworks injectors.
All right, cool deal. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to work. Let's head on over here to Restorations. All right, so we've made it over here to Restorations. We've got the famous car truck, the El Camino over here. It's got fenders and a hood on it now, Richard. It's been a while since we've seen it, so tell us what's going on with it.
Well, we had Duncan come down here and put the doors, fenders, and hood on so we could just check the fit to the chassis. Plus, this will have a functioning cowl hood. And to do that, we had to make a custom air cleaner. You know, if it would have been on a stock chassis, stock big block, you can buy all the kit to do this with. But seeing as we have a not stock motor, not stock chassis, the center of the air cleaner stud was about, it was about 1 3/4 inches off from the center of the hole in the hood. So we just took an air cleaner base, cut the bottom of it, 7/8 of an inch offset, flipped it around, welded it back up, and then made a ring with a seal to seal up here so the air cleaner sticks up through the hole. When he steps on the throttle, it'll open up the flap in the hood, it'll suck cold air. So
You make it sound a lot easier than it probably actually is.
it's not that hard, really.
So what do we got going on inside here? I saw you in here the other day.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got.
Well, this thing, it kind of sits on the ground, and it has a really tall tire in the rear. So it jacks with the low frame height and the tall tire, it brings the pinion way up in the chassis. So the driveline angle was all out of whack from what stock was. That, and it's coupled with our Silver Sport Tremec T56 Magnum. We had to cut the transmission tunnel out and make it bigger to accommodate the transmission. And the drive shaft, the pinion's so high, the drive shaft would have bottomed out on the drive shaft tunnel. So I took and cut 2 inches out of the back of the drive shaft tunnel and raised it up and made a complete tunnel for the car.
So we've redone the whole tunnel.
Yep.
We've got seats in here now, sizing them up, it looks like.
Yeah,
right?
we put those in. We put the cage in it, so we had to make sure we had clearance on the seats for the cage.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a console right now. Now he wants a factory console in it. Well, in changing the tunnel, whether it's a drive shaft tunnel or the transmission tunnel, you altered how the factory stuff would fit. So I've got a plastic console cut into pieces over here. I'm getting ready to glue back together. So
That sounds like fun.
it is.
All right, let's check out the back here. I know we did some work on the bed.
Yeah, Jerry did all the tubs and the ribs in the bed, and I know I think Sullivan's posted about the ribs in the bed before, but the customer wanted them like that, so we've got that done. We've got the rear portion of the cage where it all bolts together, so it's all functional. We actually have mounts coming off the frame that those pads bolt to, so it actually ties into the frame, as does the roll cage in the vehicle. So it actually bolts down the mounts on the chassis, so it's more of a functional one than some of them we put in the past. Jerry's built the exhaust for it, and it's almost complete. Half of it's laying over there on the table. I think the tailpipes are still under because we haven't made a provision to remove them yet. But if you want to pan down over here, it's a MagnaFlow mufflers, 3-inch exhaust all the way back. We've got them hanging down. We got the cut marks on them, but all that stuff's just kind of hanging loose underneath there now. We've got the mufflers and the mid pipes are all off of it right now. So it gets really tight under the truck because the exhaust will come up and snake up over the rear end housing, over the track bar, and then back down between the old fuel tank mounts and the frame. So it's really snug, but
You said under the truck there, but is it a car or?
well, we're under the back, so it's a truck. It's a truck back here. It's a car up there.
Okay.
So from the seats
It's
forward,
a hybrid, right?
Yeah,
it's a hybrid.
it's the first hybrid, yeah. 1970. Who
The
knew?
inventor of the hybrid. So what is this here for? It looks like everything's all bolted in.
Well, the cage would bolt in, and typically I would like to weld the cage to the vehicle, but this cage is going to be painted the color of the body. So I think he wants this to be black cherry. So we have 2 bolts here where we can unbolt, the door bar, and it's going to bolt down to the chassis here, so we can take the 3 pieces out, paint it, and put it back in, so it gets a really nice job. It's easy to do. And if somewhere down the road he needed to take it out for whatever reason, you could remove it.
Well, I think that gets us up to speed on the El Camino. So what do we got going on over here on the Charger?
I don't know. I can't remember what we've talked about before on it, but this car was hit really hard back in the 70s and was fixed at a dealership, but the old cow corner was just completely mangled. It looked like a sack of walnuts. It was really bad, and the fender alignment and hood alignment was really bad when we took this car apart. So what we did, we sourced half of a front clip, the frame rail, the inner fender, and the cow piece. So we cut everything out from underneath it and put this new used piece back in. So it's fender apron and all. The old fender apron was a little messed up because when it got hit, it actually buckled the frame rail too. Rather than try to scale it back together as far as cutting pieces out that were messed up, we'll just put a quarter of the front clip back on it.
Must have hit pretty hard to have all that.
It did.
I've bent some frame rails and it doesn't feel good.
Well,
I could imagine doing it on the road's probably a little worse.
imagine that these things probably forgive a little bit more than your race car.
Maybe not in the 70s though.
Maybe not. But Jerry's he's been working on getting this thing back together, and before long we'll have all pieces welded back in and start on body work.
Sounds like a plan. I guess we'll check back in with you whenever we get a little further down the road on this thing.
Sounds good.
All right, well, that's it for the return of our walkthrough Wednesday. Since our last walkthrough Wednesday, we have a new website, pettysgarage.com. It's a lot prettier to look at, a lot easier to navigate, and this is where we sell all these beautiful parts. Check out our strut bars on there and whatever it is that you're needing.
See you next week.